Here we go. Here we go. When you come in, say hi. When you come in, say hi. When you come in, say hi. Come in, say hi. Like, share. Share. What's cooking, good looking? This is your girlfriend, your buddy, your pal. I love Lulu, and I am excited. I am so excited about this affirmation coloring book. I got a chance when I came to Chicago to do the affirmation coloring book launch, and I am elated to be able to do it with you, coloring one of the pages out of the coloring book. And we're going to talk about a couple of things, how to readjust our minds, reset our minds, rebuild and reshape, and pivot, right? Um, I know that everybody has been through something in their lives that has caused them to reshape, reset, and pivot. And sometimes, even in that space of trying to reset and pivot, we get stuck, and complacent, and trying to figure it out. And there's no need to, because we're in the right place at the right time, and if we just surrender our will over to God, everything else will line up. All right. Everything else will line up. And all we have to do is really rest in Him and ask Him for guidance. And how can we identify our purpose and who we are to Him? And so in this affirmation coloring book, there is so many great things in here that will help us to pivot, come out of the rut that we're in. And some people do meditation, some people do yoga, some people do working out, some people cook, so that they can kind of release themselves from the toxic things that's going on or has happened, or to reshape and reframe. I am a firm believer that we are what we say to ourselves, our mind. What we put in our mind, it flows to our heart, and then it flows into the atmosphere, and it becomes a living thing, right? Or a situation or a circumstance or whatever it may be. So I decided to do a thing today, which was to actually do a page out of the book, coloring book, the affirmation coloring book with you. I want to just one first say thank you. Thank you to everyone that has been supporting, been liking, been sharing, been commenting, engaging, sending me pictures, from Texas to Arizona to Chicago to Las Vegas, like wherever you are, you have been supporting, you've been sending me pictures and videos, and I am getting around to posting the videos on here so that you know that I am grateful, and I hope that you know that I am grateful. Every book that you share with someone, with a loved one, or a kid that you know, a district, ah, a district, in the school district, share it. But we're going to talk about a couple things. So, hey, beautiful people, this is your girl, Lulu Lang. And I am so excited that you are here with me today because we are talking about love, being bold, real love, the kind that starts within and flows into every area of our lives. Um, Today, I decided to do the Be Bold page. The reason for me doing this Be Bold page tonight, um, was to really push myself even more. When I first started this affirmation coloring book, it was a thought in mind. It was really a thought in mind. It wasn't something that I just came out and did, and they came out with the guns blazing and we was ready to go. It was nothing like that. It was a thought in mind. And I really had to challenge myself to just be bold. Be bold, to be fearless, to be authentically me. I couldn't rely on anybody else to do this. I tried. I definitely tried. I tried to rely on someone else to do this. But I just couldn't. I had to really do it for myself. Um, and so I am really eager to continue to push forward. So out of the state of obedience, um, this has taken flight. This right here is me using marker and my color pencil. So um, I tend to use both sometimes. I do have the thin coloring pencils where the pencil on it is a little thinner. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little thinner. But I really want to continue to be bold in my ideas, bold in the quest that I'm on, and the things that I'm doing. Really, this was a challenge. I've never done anything like this before. Um, but coming up, we did things like this at church and school, you know, and it really causes me to kind of sit back and relax and kind of just kind of flow with things. Um, they do have different markers as well. So if you want thicker markers or even something thinner than this, you can get something thinner than this. With this, I am kind of defining my lines. Some lines I'm going to go back in and I'm going to create. I'm on live right now, okay? Go ask mommy. What did I say? Go tell mommy. Nieces and nephews, my family here. So now you see why I needed to do this. Hey, Port. Hey, baby. You see why I needed to do this. Get some little time here to kind of reset. Now, I do have all of my pencils kind of laid out over here. Know if you can kind of see it. It's kind of laid out over here, so I could just go to them. But my son had made me um a mug that I do place them in, as my go-to. So maybe I could just put that in there so that I won't end up breaking them. So you know what? I will do that because I don't have my pencil sharpener right here at me. Now because my mind is kind of um I would say kind of all over the place right now. This is causing me to kind of refocus and take that um to take that space to kind of set my mind and settle my mind rather, so that it can really focus in on something. I do have another project that I am working on and that I'm eager to share with you. But right now, this has been such a journey, and it caused me to just come back to myself, right? Um, I'm gonna leave these out because I'm actually using those right now because I'm in between coloring two spaces. So you kind of with me as I'm kind of dissecting. Now I like these because it allows me to take this on, put this on, and then I don't leave them out because it'll dry them out. And you see how thin this pencil is. So if you have a book or something right now, go and get you a book, reset yourself, you know, reaffirm yourself. Get you something right now while we sitting up here talking, okay? Because it's nothing like restoring yourself. It's nothing like restoring yourself. I got you, Port. I have the link in my bio. So when you go to iLoveLuLuLang.com, it takes you right to it. Thank you, Port. And when you get it too, do me a solid and take a picture or a video. You know, I did one with Charity. Charity she actually came to my affirmation coloring book party. I didn't even know she was coming. She's a childhood friend when I went to school as a little girl. And she has been in my life for quite some time now. So I was shocked. I didn't even know that she knew about the party. And so when I came, she was there. So I was so grateful. So I'm going to make sure that you know how to get it. All right. So now that I defined some things on here, I am coloring it in. Hey, Wise. Look, I gotta tell you, thank you so much for coming and hang out with me. It's been so long. Now, those that don't know my Wise, we actually met. Wise, how did we meet? It was through the radio show, or did I know you before? Poor, she is such a sweetheart. Oh my goodness, she's such a sweetheart. She knows a lot about me. She been with me, rocking with me for a minute. She been rocking with me for a minute. But you see how I defined those colors and then we still was able to shape it out with the pencil. And it just adds a little bit more texture to your picture. Now, sometimes too, I do have my pencils like this so that it can kind of go straight across. Because I don't know if you see this one right here, how that line came down and I didn't like it. And so I wanted it to be a little bit more kind of smoother, you know, to go across the page. I just make sure that I go into, you know, the lines, because when you do it like that, it can take you out of the lines. Yeah, but she has been in my life for quite some time. I knew you before Industry Buzz. I love you back. Thank you so much for coming. I was so surprised when you came because I know you be busy. I know you be on the grind. So I was so surprised when you came to hang out with me. Hey, Sister Berry. Thank you so much. Sister Berry also been knowing me since I was like 9 years old. And she got her book. Don't play with her. She got her book. I have posted it up in my story. I'm going to post it up on my page as well. Thank you so much for your support. It was before Industry Buzz, but how did we actually meet? That's the craziest thing. Like, I don't even know how we actually met. I know that we ended up doing the radio show together, but I don't recall how we actually met. I hope you remember so you could tell me. But tonight is all about speaking life, affirming ourselves, and preparing our hearts for the kind of love we truly deserve. And this love is not from somebody else, because we cannot depict what type of love somebody else will give us. This love is us looking in the mirror, showing up for ourselves the way that we show up for others. How many times have you showed up for other people and you was left hanging? You know what I'm saying? Like, they went on ahead about their business, won't even say that they knew you or that you did anything for them, you know, but you showed up for them in a great way, but then you was left depleted. Well, it's time for us to reaffirm ourselves, reshape our mind, and get back to that journey of self, like the journey back to me. And that's what journey I have been on, is the journey back to me. You interviewed me for a movie premiere. That's what it was. I'm so grateful you did surprise me. I'm so grateful you did. It was definitely a surprise. I didn't even know. But, you know, like getting back to ourselves and discovering who we are to God, and reconnecting ourselves back to the true vine. And really, that's the journey you want to be on. You want to be on that journey, where you are really discovering, who you are. And we tend to get into jobs and deal with people and go places, and be in spaces that we don't even need to be in. we showing up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and definitely gonna end up having trauma or a story to tell after because you in the wrong place, and so I just really wanted to do something that recentered me, really focus on me getting back to a healthy space mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. So if you're ready to level up in your life, and your relationships that you carry, because once we do that with ourselves and we're bold with ourselves, and we're making bold decisions about who we are connected to and where we're going and the things that we're doing, and we're more intentional in those decisions, those bold decisions that we're making, we are now putting ourselves in a space where we're having better relationships, but it's how you love yourself that will determine, who you allow in your life. It's how you reaffirm yourself, after you've been through those things, right? After you've had that trauma, and most times it's us putting ourselves in that, because we didn't learn our lesson the first time when it came up. We decided to still, push forward in that relationship or still do that thing. Trauma can happen not just in our relationships, but it can happen at a job, that we decided to take on a job that we should not have taken on. We should have been in a different profession. But because somebody else thought that that was good for us to do, we went ahead and did it anyway. But that was not what we needed to do or the type of job we needed to be in. And so we added trauma to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's really time for us to reshape our mind, reset ourselves, and you are on the right track. You're in the right place at the right time. I want you to go ahead, drop a heart in the comments if you are ready to reaffirm yourself. Be bold with your lifestyle, with your life, and just let's get into it, okay? All right, so our first affirmation while we're on the Be Bold page is to be bold and speak out. So sometimes somebody done said something and did something to you and you quiet. And I ain't gonna lie to you, there's a time to be quiet. It's a time to be quiet and not say nothing. But there's also a time to speak up. Now you don't have to be cussing and going off on nobody in order for you to tell them how you feel about something, that concerns you, but it is definitely important for you to speak up. Now, if God is telling you, hey, you need to say something. Don't be a pushover. Don't be a jelly bag. Don't let people just walk all over you and think that it's okay. I've done things for people, you're not the only one. I've done things for people and looked up. They still got their hand out. They haven't bought a book. They haven't did anything to support or do anything to make me feel like they care about my well-being either, but I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to let that, frustrate my world. I just have selective giving now. I'm not going to be quick to give to people that don't show up for me. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be bold about those decisions that you're making with your life choices and with the people that you are allowing in your life as well. The other affirmation is, I am worthy of love that is pure, passionate, and unwavering. If you are around people that don't see you and light up, baby, those not your people. Okay? If they don't light up when they see you and they be like running when you coming, and you ain't even did nothing to them heifers. You ain't even did nothing to hurt them, to harm them, or do them any kind of way. But they just jealous. They jealous of your presence. They nasty for no given reason. But you keep on sitting up here trying to make things work and make them be your friend. Baby, you better stop trying to make them be your friend. They ain't never going to be your friend. And if you don't watch it, they going to end up doing something to you that you ain't going to be able to return back from. And ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. We're not doing that in this new season. I'm going to make this stem brown. Going in here. We're not doing that in this new season. Well, we showing up for people and things like that. Now, of course, you're going to be obedient. You're going to do what it is that you know you need to do. You know, because sometimes that's what you need to be doing regardless, right? You know, you need to be doing that. But at the end of the day, you also have to give yourself some grace and also be intentional about your giving. If the well is dry, baby, the well is dry. Okay? You can't make something spring forth out of that. Out of that relationship, you know, out of that partnership. You can't make nothing spring forth out of that. You know, especially if every time you come around them, it's the same thing. You pouring out, and they receiving. Now, there is some people that is going to show up for you in a great way, and you got to be bold about those decisions that you're making with those friendships. You know, if you see that something no longer serves you in that relationship, is no longer taking you to a good place, then you have to be bold about that decision to let that relationship go. And it's okay. It does not matter how long that partnership has been. It's important for you to let things go when it's time to let it go. You hold on to it longer, then you end up in some mess that you won't be able to get yourself out of. All right. Affirmation number 3. I attract healthy, intentional love because I am healthy and intentional with myself. So we can listen to all these affirmations all day long, but we got to decide, hey, you're going to have to do something about it. How you care for your body, that tells you if you really love yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you feel like you shouldn't be eating something, you keep on eating it and it make you sick every time you eat it. Is that really you loving yourself? You know, or you don't went somewhere or been with somebody and, you know, and you feel horrible after you've been with them. Is that you loving yourself? If after that you find that out and then you go back, you know, and still continue. No, baby, that's not you loving yourself. You know, that's you punishing yourself. And why? Why are you punishing yourself? Your body normally, regardless if it's a man or a woman, your body normally will tell you if this is the right situation for me. No love is lost. None of that is lost. But if this is the right situation for me, if this the right, you know, person that I should be with. And you know, ain't no love lost. You know, but you definitely have to do something differently and show up for yourself and make sure that, you know, you speak your own love language. You know, you can't expect somebody to love you and you don't even know what your needs are. You don't even know if you happy with yourself. I know for me, I started taking myself out on dates, you know, so that I can actually really get back to myself. Because I care for people and love on people. So much so that sometimes it had depleted me. And I no longer wanted to be in that space anymore where, you know, I was loving on people and when I needed them, they was nowhere to be found. So I started doing some things. So you have to see what that looks like for you. You know, does that mean that you need to take yourself on a date? You know, does that mean that you need to sit down and color in your affirmation coloring book like I'm doing right now? You know, whatever you need to do to get back to yourself, you have to just make sure that it's not harming you in the midst of it. Another one is my heart is open to giving and receiving love without fear. That person that's in your life now is not the person that you previously was dealing with. This a new person. So you can't expect them to act, you know, to be okay with you treating them like your past situations. I'm not going to say mistakes, but your past learning curves. Because, boy, haven't we all had some learning curves? I know you can talk to it about it. You can talk to me about it. We've all had some, oh, shoot, see? I said I ain't want to do that. See, sometimes with these pencils, we too hard. And that's the same thing with ourselves. Sometimes we just too hard on ourselves. Pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves. It's a balance to it. There's times when you need to push yourself and times when you need to slow down and just relax. And now I need to sit up here and try to find me a doggone pencil sharpener. And I know I got one somewhere. Let's see, I was too hard. Shucks. Yeah, I have to go and try to find me a pencil sharpener. Yeah, gotta find me a pencil sharpener. I'm gonna see if I can still color, but see now it doesn't have that pen that I need on here. Hey Clarence, hey Dante, hugs and kisses. Pray all is well. All right, so we're back on task. Sometimes that happens, right? But you have to make sure that you keep your heart open. Yes, that happened. But you get a different pencil and you keep going. And that's the same thing with your life. Sometimes things happen. Excuse me, things just didn't flow the way you wanted it to flow, or, you know, that job just wasn't the job that you thought it was going to be for you, or that person is just not the person. That place you went was just not what you felt like you needed when you got there. But you got to be able to journey on. Get something else. Put something else in place. Just don't stay there. Don't stay in the muck. You know, don't stay in the muck of things. So always keep your heart open to giving and receiving love without fear. So I can't anticipate what somebody else will do to me, but I can decide how I'm going to treat others based on what was done to me before. And the best thing to do is to not allow yourself to put somebody else in the same category. Now, the flip side, right? The flip side is that if you see the behavior is similar, not fear, but you see that the behavior has some similarities to it, yeah, we're going to get up out of that. We ain't going to stay in that. We not staying there. Yeah, you see that? You see that? Yeah. Don't play with me. Yeah, we ain't going to stay in that. We're going to go ahead on about our business and do something different, you know, and let them stay where they at. What you think? How's it looking so far? And these are 3 different shades of green. So I got these, this one, and then I also used this one. So these are actually 4 shades, different shades of greens. All right, we're about to wrap this up to go to the next one. So we're going to love without fear. Okay? We're going to love without fear. Ain't no need to being fearful. But if we see something that's the same, we're going to go ahead on about our business too. That's what we're going to do. Now, I deserve a love that feels like peace and not pressure. Tell me what you think about that statement. What does peace look like to you in a relationship? Somebody that allows you to be authentically everything that God has called you to be. Or somebody that's always trying to pressure you to change. And then you look up the next day, they somebody else themselves. The same things that they was requiring from you, It's not even the same things that they want the next day. So they unsure. So you cannot live your life based on somebody else's, feelings. You have to really be authentically yourself. The love I seek already lives within me. We started this conversation out with, hey, can't nobody else give you the same love. That means that you have to take that quality time to get to know what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. And if somebody has that power over you, guess what? They will manipulate you and all of the things, okay? You'll constantly be on an emotional roller coaster all the time. Hey, Chevelle. Hey, Tommy. You'll be on an emotional roller coaster all the time, and I ain't gonna have nobody having me on no emotional roller coaster all the time. I choose partners who honor my soul, my boundaries, and my dreams. Tell me what you think about that one in the comments. God's love covers me, guides me, and prepares me for divine connections. I am magnetic to the love that aligns with my highest self. Tell mommy I'm on live, okay? Give mommy all these colors. I always have colors. Hi, Gigi. Hi, baby. Okay, go. I'm on live, okay? So that means y'all have to be quiet. Here. I don't know if you can carry these. Okay, got it? All right, don't drop them. Okay. My babies. I'm grateful to have my babies with me. Our next affirmation is, I am magnetic to the love that aligns with my highest self. Real love finds me because I refuse to settle for less than I deserve. I am deeply loved, divinely protected, and beautifully connected. Those are the things that we know about you. But you have to know those things too about yourself. Sometimes it's the fine lines and we just have to color it in, right? You see I didn't color all of this in. I got to go back to it. So sometimes there's some things about our lives that we have to go back to, refine it. Yes, baby. Auntie needs the clear polish. See if I got some clip polish. Tell your mom she can keep. Tell your mom she can keep those polishes. Here. Okay. Tell her I need that one back. Okay. This one? No, tell her she can keep it. This? Uh-huh. But not all the colors? She can keep all the colors and that. That's how my little sister be getting me, man. She get me out everything. She got all my polishes. I had about 14 polishes. So you have to define some things. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's not, life not going to look like this. Mommy said thank you. You're welcome. It's not going to look like this. You know? But a picture is beautiful, right? We have to define it. Define the lines. Define our lives. Okay? It's going to sometimes come with challenges. Things that we like and we don't like about ourselves. But it's up to us to define it. Can't nobody else define you. If you allow somebody else to define you, guess what? You'll always be unhappy. And we're not living life like that. We ain't going to live life that we are happy. I think those are the lines. Let's see. I got to remember not to be so rough. And that's the same thing when it comes down to ourselves. So look at this coloring book as something that is a self-reflection for us to be bold, to be fearless, and be all that we are. Sometimes, yeah, we got to define the lines. Things look gray. We don't know what it looks like and what it's going to become. But one thing that we know, it's going to be a beautiful picture if we just take our time. Take our time. Love on ourselves. And some lines we may not like about ourselves, situations that has happened, how we handle it, or even the things that we became. You know, how we now don't have trust, or we now have a lack of this or have the lack of that. You know, but those things that we know about ourselves, we can always do something about it. It's when we start sugarcoating things, overlooking those things. But if you embrace all those things about yourself that you know, and the things that you don't like, work on, your life will be beautiful. Nobody can define you but you. Not a husband, not a friend, not a wife, not a job, not where you live, not even your circumstances. Nothing can define you but you. So you have to color in your own lines. And sometimes that's embracing with not being okay. So take a time and take a moment to yourself. Reset. Refocus. So you can pivot. This is your girlfriend, your buddy, your pal. I'm so excited about what you do next. There's absolutely nothing you cannot accomplish. You could do anything if you put your mind to it. And keep in mind, you're not on this journey by yourself. We're on it together. Hugs and kisses.